Hey everyone, what up? Matt Kaiser here, and I'm back. And I thought, why not show that I'm back by doing, of course, my traditional review. And that is, of course, well, what we're going to be talking about today. Now, when it comes to platformers, arguably one that stands above the rest, and one that you can immediately think of, is none other than, well, Mario. Being, of course, Nintendo's mascot, as well as a massive icon in pop culture, now being over 35 years old, and still going strong with recent successes like, say, Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario Wonder, and especially the brand new Super Mario Bros. Movie. And another thing about Mario is that he is one of the very few platformers to successfully transition to other genres, whether it be, of course, racing games, party games, being a doctor, as well as, of course, being a fighter in Super Smash Bros. We don't talk about that other genre he also transitioned to, though.
Spaghetti!
But one genre that he weirdly managed to do very well in concept was actually transitioned to the RPG genre. And it all began in 1994, where Shigeru Miyamoto had a desire to make an RPG game using Mario, as well as plus Squaresoft's own desire to develop an RPG that could just potentially do better outside of Japan than the previous games, blending both Nintendo's formula of Mario's traditional platforming, world and levels, with Square's intuition with the RPG genre, as well as including turn-based combat. They essentially created a masterpiece in the form of Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, being released for Super Famicom in Japan 19th of March and in the West for 13th of May in 1996. This was a financial success, selling about 1.47 million units, as well as also gained critical amazing praise, to the point it actually became the gateway to other Mario RPG games within two subseries, one of course being the Paper Mario games, and the other one being Mario and Luigi games. This game would also be released for the Wii Virtual Console service in 2008, which actually marks its debut for both Europe and Australia, as well as later for the Wii U's Virtual Console in 2015. This would also get things like a Super NES Classic Edition in 2017, but the real amazing thing was back in 2023 at the Nintendo Direct, where it was announced that this game would get a full-on remake being made by none other than the Dragon Quest guys, as well as other remakes that they've worked on, known as Art Piazza. And this remake would offer things like a brand new fresh coat of paint, as well as a rearranged soundtrack, as well as even some new post-game content and quality of life features, but while still staying true to the original. Released for the Nintendo Switch on November 17th, 2023, which is the version I'll be playing. And just like with games say as the Atelier Marie remake, the East 1 remake, and the Live Alive remake, this will be my first experience with this game, and I want to see whether or not it's the masterpiece even after 25 years. And I totally didn't have any other reason to review this game. Nope, none whatsoever.
Joining in on a collab with my good friend Matt Kaiser, where I got to talk about how excited I was for the remake. The original game never really was able to leave my head.
But before we begin, if you like what you're seeing here, then by all means, like the video, click the subscribe button if you're new, and hit that bell notification icon if you want more RPG content and reviews like this from yours truly. Not only that, but I'm currently working on my Persona 5 review special for 750 subscribers, and hopefully before this year ends, I'll be able to deliver such a special review on what may consider to be the best or one of the best modern JRPGs of all time. So please do look forward to that. And with that said, so ready your shell, grab your frog coins, and do the Mario as we jump straight into Super Mario RPG. So our story begins with Princess Peach outside of Mario's house. So that's what his house looks like. Anyway, she's attending his gardens till, of course, she gets kidnapped by Bowser. Again. Guess old things never change. and with her screams, Mario steps out and heads to Bowser's castle to confront Bowser and save her. Wait, we're already at Bowser's castle and we're already fighting him as the first boss? Yeah, and we beat him and get the princess. So, that was Super Mario RPG, a very short but enjoyable RPG, and well, actually, things go a little bit different here than your typical Mario adventure. As well as the sky had a baby in the form of a giant sword imbuing Bowser's castle.
Squidward, the sky had a baby!
That's not a baby, that's a giant anchor!
Separating Mario, Peach, and Bowser away, with now being taken over by a villain named Smithy.
Smitty Werbin Jaegerman Jensen.
What? There is no Smitty Werbin Jiggerman Jensen!
And his gang, who rummage around Mario's world, as well as the 7 stars, which once formed the Star Road, that is able to help make wishes and dreams come true, have now been split apart and spread across around the world. So, it's up to Mario to team up with some new and old allies to not only find the 7 stars in restoring the Star Road, and also summon the giant dragon which will grant the user oh wait, wrong MacGuffins, sorry. But also defeat Smithy and his gang, saving this world. So yeah, that is the story, and yeah, I would say it's just not exactly groundbreaking or deep, but for a Mario game, that's really par the course, as Mario games don't really have that much deep stories, as they're more simple, light-hearted adventures, unless you really want to try and have an interesting story with Super Mario Sunshine, which was something alright. However, I actually do enjoy this aspect of RPG, as this actually subverts the whole Mario formula by throwing it on its head and knocking him out. Yeah, it actually happens a lot. Poor Mario. Instead of Mario having to travel level by level to defeat Bowser and save Peach, it's more of Mario, Peach, and Bowser and co having to work together to grab the Power Stars to stop, a bigger threat that not only has taken over Bowser's castle, but planned to cause mayhem around Mario's world. But what really sells it, is the writing and the characters, with the writing being very witty, funny, zany, and overall charming, with lots of dialogue that really caught me off guard of how insane these characters can talk at times. And it's just so goofy entertaining. Another great aspect is of course the characters and the dynamics between them. Starting off, we have Mario, who, while of course he doesn't talk, still shows his bravery, as well as him being more of a hothead and acts like a leader, and it's definitely on point for a hero like Mario, being treated like a celebrity here, and heck, he can even do charades. Peach, of course, while she starts as the usual damsel in distress, when freed, she does stand up a bit and is willing to help. Even if she's not as brave as Mario, and well, she's not exactly the girl boss we've seen in the recent movie. And to be honest, out of the whole Legacy cast, I found her the most least interesting out of the 3, though she did have some decent motivations. But hey, she's still going out to this day, especially with her brand new Princess Peach Showtimers to go for. Bowser, however, in contrast, is a lot more compelling and as well as more comedic actually, and he even gains more of a respectful side. Like sure, he's still evil and maybe a bit of a jerk, but when you see him interacting with his comrades who tried and failed to take on Smithy and now have taken different lives, he actually respects them and he's even more kind to them. Wonder if he's now more respectful to the Spinnies now. As for the original characters, Mallow is easily the best addition to this game, being so cute and fluffy.
You're so fluffy!
Okay, maybe not that fluffy, but still also having a very endearing character arc, trying to be brave and not cry, as also discover the real truth about his heritage, when he realizes he's not a frog. And once again, he's just so cute and goofy, even falling and getting hit for comedic effect. I can truly see kids who probably played this game back in the day on the Super Famicom would have really resonated with him, as he is, in a way, very relatable. And then we move on to Gino. And yeah, I think you can guess why I saved him for last. This is a character that many fans really like, and even want him to be in Super Smash Bros., as well as him hyping him up because, well, he's so mysterious and cool, I guess. And well, this is probably going to tick the massive Gino fan base off, but realistically, Gino is kinda meh? Is he a bad character? No, not necessarily, but not gonna lie, and I say this with my whole full heart, he's actually kinda boring and doesn't really have much of a character, other than wanting to find the star pieces in order to restore the Star Road. And that's kinda it really. He has like only a little bit of other emotion, but it's only shown at the very far end of the game, and for me that's just too little too late. Had these traits been gradually shown throughout the game, maybe I would have liked him more. But unfortunately, I'm very sorry guys, Gino doesn't do it for me. So put Mallow in Smash Bros instead! I imagine a lot of Gino fans aren't gonna like me after this. Hoo boy. Now for the side characters, they're actually pretty much entertaining, whether it's the Toads, Bowser's minions, or even the residents of Upper Nimbus. See what I did there? Same goes for the villains, whether it's the Smithy Gang, Valentina, or Booster. All of them having their own personalities and quirks that just make them a nice foil against our heroes. The main villain fits well with Mario's world, even though he didn't have much screen time and honestly didn't leave much of an impression, I guess. But you also have other characters like Booster, who is absolutely hilarious. And my favorite Smithy Gang members would have to be Bowyer and the Axum Rangers, the latter of which for no other particular reason. Then we get on to the visuals, and I have to say, this game really looks nice. Now the original used something akin to a claymation style for the Super Famicom, which honestly had a very nice charming aesthetic to it. But for the remake, they decided to remake it on par with the graphics for the recent Mario games, like Wonder, Odyssey, and 3D Mario. And honestly, I think it's a nice upgrade and makes the game very appealing, with everything just looking so colorful and cute. Another cool addition is the CGI cutscenes, both shown in the main story, as well as doing team attacks, as well as collecting the stars. And honestly, they just look so damn beautiful. Now performance wise, this game actually won well, mostly at a good 60 FPS, which I have to say, for a ground up remake of a Super Famicom game, especially for Nintendo Switch, that's impressive. Obviously, it's not all perfect, as sometimes the frames do dip, most notably during the heavy particle effects of team attacks and some areas, but all in all, it's pretty damn smooth and fluid. And again, for a remake of for the Switch, that is pretty amazing. Now we get on to the gameplay. So Super Mario RPG is a turn-based... Lord of playing a game! Thank you ladies, but I got from here, thank you very much. So it has your standard attacks, like, attack with normal attacks, as well as the option to defend, use items, as well as use special attacks, which is abilities for offensive and defensive that cost you flower points, which is like a traditional MP. However, what separates it from other turn-based JRPGs is that this game uses timed inputs, where if you time your attacks just when your attack lands, the damage actually increases, or if you time your blocks before an enemy attacks land, you can negate that damage entirely. It's overall a fun mechanic and actually makes these battles more engaging and helps you to learn each attack or block depending on the enemy or weapon ability you gain. Though, some enemies will have attacks that are actually unblockable. You also have things like a gauge and a chain system, with the latter being able to provide you some buffs when reaching either 5 based on how well you do, like things like having consistent timed attacks and blocks, as well as the latter also being achieved by continuing to do more successful actions, and as well, the more you constantly do in a row, the gauge feels faster, and even defeating enemies will also grant you bonuses like HP max, once again, gauge up, and once your gauge reaches 100% and your active party's alive, you also get to do a triple move, a special move that has this gorgeous FMV, and these range from doing things like an ultra powerful attack, or even something like a full-on HP regeneration, as well as also being free to switch party members between mid-battle on the fly, which all of them having their own uses and roles, like Mario here being essentially a black mage, Peach a white mage, as well as Mario, Bowser and Geno essentially being the heavy physical and magical attackers. And once you level up, not only does your stats increase, but you also have the option to choose another bonus stat increase, whether it's to increase your max HP, or increase your physical attack and defense, or your magic attack and defense. As well as also do this cute little dance here, and you know what? Let's play the thing.
Do the Mario swing your arms from side to side. Come on, it's time to go. Do the Mario. Take one step and then again. Let's do the Mario all together now.
Also, occasionally when you do clear battles, you also have the chance to double your EXP or coins by finding Yoshi here within these 3 eggs, and if you do it right, you are able to get it, but if you get it wrong, well, you don't get these bonuses. And even doing general encounters, you'll also encounter special enemies, who are regular enemies but stronger, and if you beat them, you also get frog coins. But battles are just half what you do in this game, as since this is a Mario game, the one thing he can only do best is, you guessed it, hitting mushrooms.
Yep, there it is, and all gone.
Sorry, how to do it here. The one thing that Mario does best here is of course platforming, as levels will have you required to do some general platforming. Not overly intense or exciting as general Mario platforming in other games, but it's appreciated here, and actually does add some flavor than just exploring through these levels and dungeons, among also doing some mini games and puzzles. Though, I will talk about that aspect later. So overall, generally speaking, the gameplay for Super Mario RPG is great. But, as always, there are some problems. One which I think many agree is that the game is way too easy. I played this game on normal and every encounter just feels like a breeze. And generally speaking that a lot of the bosses in the main story don't pose much of a threat despite the narrative and the build up just hyping them up. It's also mainly due to the game just being exploitable with the abilities that both bosses and enemies can be weak to. As well as even just bosses, some of them just don't have that much threatening moves to keep me on my toes. I think the only times I actually sort of died in the main story was only up against the Axum Rangers and maybe the first phase of the final boss. But aside from that, it's mainly a cakewalk. And heck, there's even an easy mode that makes this game more easy, which is insane. Another gripe I do have, though, it's not entirely too deep, it's just a nitpick I have, is obviously I know I didn't have the right accessories, but it's cases where some enemies do tend to spam the same stats, elements, and unblockable attacks, which really wasn't that fun for me. Having like 2 Shy Guys in the same battle, playing Lullaby over and over again to make my party sleep. But that's just a me thing. Another gripe I do have is that the platforming isn't essentially perfect due to mainly the positioning, and not gonna lie, it's so annoying at times. But alas, I still had a blast playing this, especially in the combat and platforming sense. Moving on, we head to the music, and well, it's wonderful. What can I say? With it being done by once again the legendary goddess of music herself, Yoko Shimomura, who, just like with the Live Alive, also did things like, well, compose the original, and was actually brought back to do the Remake's OST. And well, there are just so many melody memories here. Or memory of melody.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Now, there are just some overall lots of relaxing and wonderful tunes within each level, as well as having some both amazing battle and boss themes here. And funny enough, that latter aspect is actually dynamic, because even if you reach, like say, a 5-chain in battle, the music actually changes its tempo to make it more energetic and pumps you up. Without further ado, time to do my usual stick. And then lastly, reach is the content. Throughout Mario RPG, this game has things mainly like minigames sprinkled throughout the main story, like this minecart one here, or even the waterfall one, as well as things like in Tadpole Pond where you can even make music, or even hang out with some Yoshis, which is something I sadly missed during my playthrough, probably for the better to appease someone, wink wink. Though what else this game truly offers is also post-game bosses, which involve refighting harder variations of bosses in the main story, as well as even fighting against the main secret boss, coming straight out of Final Fantasy IV, Culex. Playing this game generally took me around 12 hours, and for a game like this, and yes, as much as I am a broken record, as much as I really do love my long games, I really don't mind short games like this. Damn, is this because I'm getting older and I just don't have much time on my hands? Dear God. And with all that said, having the chance to finally play this game, what do I think of it? Overall, I found this game to be an amazing experience, such a joyous and fun experience, that oddly enough, made me feel like a kid again. It was an enjoyable ride from start to finish, and I was just amazed on how a concept like Mario's first RPG was nailed so well, almost on par with like say, a certain iconic animation to now multimedia company, crossovering with the most iconic RPG franchise, with its own twist. But that's another topic, though I'll have to think on considering doing that. While the story may not be able to be something to write home about, the characters, the writing, the combat, and the overall Mario flair present within this RPG, it's just a pleasant treat. Any JRPG fans should definitely play this game. And I think also this is something worth recommending to anyone new to JRPGs to play this as their first one. Overall, this is just an amazing game, and with that, I will give Super Mario RPG 4 Toads out of 5. And thank you guys so much for watching. So let me know down in the comments if you played this game and what you think about it. So until then, Mad Kaiser, out.